Okay, hello, welcome to Web Development Tutorials by Imo Titus. Okay, in these tutorials, we'll be looking at what is web development, the steps involved in web development, what is CSS, and what is HTML. Now, what is web development? Web development involves developing a website for the internet or an intranet. It is very important that we understand that web development can range from developing a simple single static page to a complex web application such as social networks, businesses, and e-commerce websites. Now, in these tutorials, we'll be looking more on the front-end design. Now, what are the steps involved? First, a web developer must understand the basic of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are the languages or the codes that we write in our text editor to help us design a website. Next, a web developer must understand the importance of a responsive web design. A responsive web design means that your website will be able to adjust itself to any screen size, whether be an Android device, a tablet, or a computer. Once we are done with the basics of HTML and CSS, we're going to look deeper into those two languages. We'll also learn how to use maps, fonts, and icons in CSS in HTML, and also JavaScript in HTML DOM. In step 3, we will choose a framework. In these tutorials, we'll be using Bootstrap as our framework on the CSS side. On JavaScript side, we'll be using React.js, and then a little bit of jQuery to help us in the dynamics of our web page. Now, it is very important we understand what is HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is the standard markup language for web pages. What does it mean? It means that HTML is used in writing every web page you see on the internet. Now, HTML elements are the building blocks of HTML pages. Elements are like codes. Some codes you have to put in your text editor for it to be read by your browser and then displayed on the website. Now, HTML elements are represented by an angle bracket and a closed angle bracket tags. HTML element begins with a start tag and an end tag with the content in between. For example, every element as shown in this screen, the H1 has an element H1, then the element content, and most importantly the end tag. So note this: every element you choose must always have a start tag and also an end tag. HTML elements have attributes, and we said attributes provide additional information about the element. Attributes comes in name/value pairs. For example, the char set equal to UTF-8. Now, next slide you understand what the char set means and why it is UTF-8. This is how a basic HTML document looks like. It is always in your text editor. You always have to code with the angle bracket, apostrophe, doctype, HTML. Close the angle bracket, HTML, lang, en, close the angle bracket, HTML, meta, chasset, equal, UTF-8, title, which is the page title. Remember, the browser, when you browse on a website, the page title is always displayed on the title bar of your browser. Now the body is the visible part, or what we see when we browse a website. So every code, every design is done under the body tag. And you must always remember that you must close the body tag and also close the HTML. Now we'll try to understand each of those elements or tags we just mentioned earlier. We must remember that HTML elements are the building blocks of HTML pages, and then the angle bracket apostrophe doctype HTML declares that the document you are coding is in HTML5. There have been other HTML from HTML 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.2, and then 5. The doctype declares you're using HTML5, and that will help the browser better in understanding the language you're using. But you must always understand this. If HTML6 is available, a web developer is supposed to update himself or herself to the use of HTML6. The next is the HTML element. We said it is a root element of an HTML page. Yes, you're coding using HTML. Definitely you're supposed to start it again. Write the HTML tag to help the browser understand that it is an HTML page you are dealing with. Now the lang attribute defines the language of the document. We said the lang attribute in our previous slide said en. En means English. For French, FR, and etc. The meta tag element contains meta information about the document. Meta information such as the character set, such as the viewport, and etc. Now the character set defines the character set used in the document, or the chasset attribute defines the character set used in the document. There are other character sets, but UTF-8 is what is used in HTML documents. The title element specifies a title for a document. As I've said earlier, when you browse a website, the title of the page is often displayed at the title bar of your browser. Now the body element contains the visible page content, the design of a website, how beautiful it is, and everything is contained under the body element or the body tag. And the H1 element we said defines a large heading. Remember this, headings are categorized from 1 to 6. While the H1 defines a large heading, H6 defines a smaller heading. Now P element defines a paragraph. As I said, in HTML, paragraph means every content in sentence form that is being written under a P or paragraph. Now let us take the summary again. All HTML documents must start with the doctype HTML. This is very, very important. Now, HTML document itself must start with an HTML and ends with what? The close or end HTML tag. And also, the visible part of the HTML document is between the body tag and the close body tag. Whatsoever design we'll try to make or create will be in between body and the end body tag. This is how an HTML document structure is supposed to look like. This will be done in your text editor. And in these tutorials, we'll be using VS as our text editor. Now, as you've observed, we'll be writing the HTML. Or first and foremost declare the doc type HTML, and then HTML, then the head, then the page title, which is the title tag, and then the close title tag, and other meta information will be written under the head. And then the body, under the body we'll be having a whole lot of design, style, and every other beautiful code we'll write just to make our website good. And then we'll close the body tag, and then we'll close HTML. In our next class, we'll be looking at individual HTML elements and how they are being used in the text editor. If you have any question, message me, and then we'll proceed from there. Thank you for listening.